Alright guys, Tana is getting sued for hundreds of thousands of dollars, $300,000 at the very minimum, for not paying his old friend Lewis for his share on the song Off the Leash. And after reading the lawsuit, this story is really messed up. A kid was basically taken advantage of. So I'm going to explain how Tana screwed over his old friend, the context, what's happening, and the most likely outcome of this all. And what I'm going to do is I found the court documents, or it was sent to me by a fan in my Discord, and I'll go over that and I'll just flash up the screenshots. But before I start, let me just give some super quick context. So Tana and Lewis were both teenage rappers, obviously one a lot more popular than the other. They made some music together. They were pretty good friends until they finally made a song called Off the Leash. Young Chris later remixed it and it went ultra viral on TikTok. However, years later, Lewis was never paid. So he's been forced to have to sue Tana as well as his label Galactic to get the monies owed. And in this case, maybe even some more. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so one of my fans follows this lawyer on Instagram and he basically noticed that he posted his story saying Louis Grulon, or Lewis, is filing his complaint against Baby Santana, and he used the song Off the Leash as like the sound on Instagram. So he investigated and he supplied me with the court documents, and I'm gonna go over it. All right, so first of all, I'm gonna show you the case. As you can see, it was filed on June 27, 2024. The plaintiff is Lewis, the rapper, and it's against Stephen D. Lewis, Tana, Giuseppe Zappala, who is Tana's manager, Lil Tecca's manager, and I'm pretty sure also a co-owner of Galactic Records, which is a subsidiary of Republic Records, whose parent company is Universal Music Group, which almost all labels are. So those are the defendants named in this case. The nature of the case is copyright ownership, which Lewis is claiming he has, and he's seeking a judgment about his joint ownership and co-ownership of the song Off the Leash. And they're asking for at least 50% share of royalties and profits earned from the derivative song and music video. So before I get into the entire case, because it talks about it mentions their relationship from the very beginning all the way to the end. They talk about a derivative song very often in this case, so I just want to explain what that means. A derivative work is any song that takes a pre-existing work and uses that material to create a new composition or sound recording. So it's not a cover, but it's literally like just an original version of the song. The reason they say that is because Lewis and Tana originally made the song together. Young Chris was not a part of it. He was later added. So technically, this song, the song that you know that blew up, isn't the original song. However, Lewis is on it. He's on the third part. They pushed this part back and he's in the music video. So let's get into the case. And by the way, if you're reading this text and you're saying, and you see Lewis, the legal Lewis is Tana, because Tana's name is Stephen Lewis and Lewis's name is Louis Grulon, so that might confuse you. So I'm just going to refer to them by their actual names. So it begins by saying, Lewis and Tana are both musical artists and rappers in the genre of underground rap. In the summer of 2019, Lewis met Tana through online video games and were in group chats involving several other musical artists. In the summer of 2019, Lewis was 14. In the summer of 2019, Tana was 13. When they met, Tana's social media handle was @Tana5K and had a following of approximately 1,000 followers. So he basically wasn't anybody. Remember, Tana got like his little buzz 2020, really blew up around 2021. All right. And then they talk about the rest of their friendship. Over time, Lewis and Tana established a friendship built on their mutual interest in music and video games. They often played video games and recorded music together. Prior to Tana being signed to the defendant, Galactic Records, they co-created and released several songs together. In May of 2021, Tana visited New York City to spend some time with Lewis. During the visit to New York, Tana and Lewis spent a ton of time together, attended music networking events, and filmed a music video together. In May of 2021, they were invited to a recording session for the artist Lil Tecca. Upon information and belief, Lil Tecca's record label, Galactic Records, was interested in signing Tana at the time, but hadn't done so. A couple months later, in August of 2021, Lewis and Tana attended the Summer Smash Musical Festival together in Chicago, Illinois, with backstage artist access. In fall of 2021, Tana was signed to the defendant, Galactic Records, and Republic Records by Giuseppe Zappala, Lil Tecca's manager. Alright, so that's their history as friends. Clearly they were tight, clearly they worked together a lot, clearly they were cool, right? Anyways, they now get into Lewis and Tana's recording and release history. So prior to Tana signing his deal with Galactic Records and Republic Records, they created several songs together. These songs were joint works of authorship, basically meaning they both wrote the songs, they both owned them, right? The rights. Some of these songs were released to the public and others were not released. So they have, just like anything. In the process of making these songs together, they would send each other beats, lyrics, and vocal recordings to be incorporated into the songs. In the spring, summer, and fall of 2021, they made and released several songs together. So there's one called Ball, there's another one called Say My Name Remix, and then there's Dougie and K Part 1 and Dougie and K Part 2. Dougie and K Part 1 is actually super hard. Go check it out. It samples like this Frank Ocean song. It's hard. Anyways, the whole point of this is just to say, hey, there are multiple songs they've released prior to this that they both co-authored, And here they get to the juicy part, all right? Off the Leash, okay? And first, they talk about the original song, all right? So the original does not include Young Chris in it. So here's what it says. As of September 5th, 2021, Tana was not signed to Galactic Records or Republic Records. On September 5th, 2021, Lewis and Tana were playing video games online with one another and discussed creating a new song together. The same day, September 5th, 2021, Lewis and Tana each recorded their own verses for the original song. An unreleased and unmixed version of the original song features a dialogue between Tana and Lewis. Sorry, reading this is super trippy because Tana's last name is literally Lewis, so it's anyways. The original song features two verses with one verse written and performed by Lewis and the other written and performed by Tana. The original song is 2 minutes and 55 seconds, 5 seconds, long. The lyrics of the original song refer to Lewis and Tana's friendship together, and they talk about some references, such as Lewis being referenced to as Lil Lewis. In the song, Tana uses the following lyrics: "Stop playing with me and Lewis. Me and Lewis used to sleep in the street." This court case aside, fantasizing about sleeping on the street is a little weird, but they were 15 years old, so I'll give them a pass. And then they just talk about the original song, crediting them both. They were both authors, and despite the absence of any marketing or promotion, the original song had hundreds of thousands of streams in less than a month. Okay. I think maybe the reason they're saying there's no marketing is because they could use that as an excuse for not paying Lewis. Hey, we put money into marketing, etc., right? Anyways, here's the real juicy part, all right? Because now they get into the remix and re-release of, the derivative song, which is just the remix of the original song with Young Chris on it and the music video, all right? So let's get into it, because it's a little hefty, all right? Upon information and belief, Tana was signed to a recording and distribution deal by Galactic Records and Republic Records in the fall of 2021. Tana was still a minor in the fall of 2021. After Tana signed his deal with Galactic Records and Republic Records, Giuseppe started to manage Tana. This is important because Giuseppe is kind of named as the culprit for allegedly stealing all of Lewis's money, all right? Or that's what this case makes it out to be. Anyways, Giuseppe was aware of the original song as of October 8th, 2021. On October 8th, 2021, Lewis, Tana, and Giuseppe and Rias is Young Chris, by the way, conducted an Apple FaceTime video call and made plans to film a music video. Giuseppe, Galactic Records, and Republic Records devised a plan to market a remix version of the original song. The plan included a music video and to feature another artist. That other artist would be Young Chris to perform vocals as a song side artist for royalties and a cash advance. So they actually paid him for this feature, which is interesting because I thought him and Tana were friends. Anyways, so Giuseppe, Galactic Records, and Republic financed this remixed version. By the way, Young Chris's stuff was going crazy on TikTok. Young Chris would drop the most basic, regular raps ever, and it would just blow up. Young Chris in 2021 could record himself taking a and it would blow up on TikTok. I don't know what it was, but he would just go crazy. This isn't even a diss towards his stuff. Literally just how it is. Anyways, they then explain how in Miami, with a large production budget, including expensive vehicles, chartered yacht, drone photography, and flamethrowers, they spent some money on the music video. Okay. Then on January 6, 2022, they published the derivative song, which is the song that we all know, to streaming platforms such as YouTube, SoundCloud, etc. And on the 7th, they put it on Tana's Spotify, all right? And here's another important detail to remember. In this song, they put Lewis's part, Lewis as in the actual Lewis, not Tana. His part was pushed to the very end. And now they kind of explain how popular the song has become. The derivative song has been performed publicly and streamed extensively on various platforms. As of the filing of this complaint, the derivative song has amassed over 64 million streams on Spotify. Let's do a little math. Each million streams on Spotify gives you $4,000. 64 times 4, that's $256,000 that it's just gross just on Spotify. Let's say, it's probably made, minus the music video cost, somewhere from, well, we're talking all platforms and maybe a little like licensing and publishing, probably somewhere from like $200 to $500, maybe even $600,000. Lewis is likely gonna get like 70% of that, or like 50% plus. We'll talk about it later. Anyways, they then talk about like the other streams. It has about 15 million streams on YouTube, 64 million on Spotify. The music video has 8 million. The derivative song credits Lewis under his legal name, Louis Grulon. The YouTube credits him, and they basically state that Lewis is in fact a joint author and co-owner about the derivative song and the music in the music video. All right, so now they basically just said, hey, he's clearly a part owner of this song. That's all this is establishing, and he's just talking about the relationship as artists and how it all came together, and they're back, and we're about halfway through, so hang on there. All right, I know I kept saying this is like the juicy part, this is the juicy part, but this is actually the part where he got screwed over. The contract negotiations for the derivative song. All right, so let's get into it. So on December 15, 2021, Giuseppe and defendant Galactic Records contacted Grulon to enter a side agreement for the derivative song. So Tana's manager, Giuseppe, contacted Lewis to sign an agreement for the rights to the song. Giuseppe oversaw the handling of the contract negotiations of the song on behalf of the defendant Galactic Records and Republic Records. Upon information and belief, Giuseppe was under time pressure from Republic Records to get Grulon Lewis to sign the derivative song contract so that the derivative song could be released on December 17th, 2021. Okay? Basically, the song was blowing up on TikTok and they're like, yo, we gotta capitalize. So anyways, when negotiations for the derivative song contract came on December 15, 2021, Lewis was 16 years old and a minor, so he can't really make these decisions, what they're saying. Giuseppe was aware of Lewis's status as a minor during the contract negotiations. Neither Giuseppe nor any other defendants sent to Lewis or to any parent or guardian of Lewis the material terms of the derivative song contract. Neither Giuseppe nor any defendant explained to Lewis or to any parent or guardian of Lewis any music industry terms of the derivative song contract. So basically they had sent him a contract which clearly wasn't favorable because he didn't get paid at all, and they didn't explain anything. He probably didn't get any legal counsel. Parents didn't understand, but we'll keep going. Neither Giuseppe nor any other defendant told Lewis whether the song contract would sell, assign, or otherwise transfer any of Lewis's rights as joint author of the original song or the derivative song. The contract did not provide that Lewis would receive a share of the royalties from an advance for the original song or the derivative song. Neither Giuseppe nor any other defendant told Lewis that the derivative song contract did not provide that Lewis would receive a share of the royalties from an advance for the original song or of the derivative song. So basically, they didn't tell him that he wasn't going to get paid. They just sent it. Here's the more, this is another sad part. Lewis did not consult with an attorney, and Giuseppe did not suggest that he should consult with an attorney before he might agree to the terms of the contract. Giuseppe told Lewis that if Lewis delayed in agreeing to the terms of the contract, he would delay the release of the song. So he's basically pressuring him, or they're alleging that he pressured him here. I don't want to, Giuseppe told Lewis that if Lewis delayed in agreeing to the terms of the contract, Giuseppe would get in trouble with Galactic Records or Republic Records, maybe Republic. I think he owns Galactic, right? Am I tripping? Giuseppe was aware that Grulon's mother was responsible for making legal decisions for Lewis. Grulon is Lewis, by the way. Giuseppe did not contact Lewis's mother and did not ask Lewis if his mother was aware of the proposed derivative song contract. So basically they're saying, hey, this guy knew he couldn't really make these decisions legally, but still chose not to. Giuseppe made no attempt to contact any other parent or guardian of Lewis. Lewis did not sign the derivative song contract, so he actually never signed it. Lewis did not electronically sign the derivative song contract. Neither counsel for the defendant, Galactic Records, nor Giuseppe attempted to confirm whether Lewis had received or reviewed the material terms of the derivative song contract. So they had just pretended, I guess. Neither counsel for defendant Galactic Records nor Giuseppe attempted to confirm that Lewis's mother consented to the terms of the contract on behalf of Lewis. And now they talk about what happened afterwards, because now the song's out. On January 6, 2022, the derivative song was released on all streaming platforms. The next day, it was released on Spotify. That same day, it was also released on YouTube. For the remainder of 2022 and 2023, Lewis and his mother attempted to negotiate an agreement with Galactic Records and Republic Records. So that means he saw 0 cents. He saw nothing from the song for 2 years. This is some like entertainment or like music and stuff. Anyways, throughout 2022, counsel for Galactic Records and Republic Records and Giuseppe would not respond to Lewis or his mother. They basically ghosted him. The song was out, they were getting their money, they didn't care. In March of 2023, counsel for Galactic Records and Republic Records sent a new contract to Lewis and his mother. So basically a year and almost a half later, they were like, all right, we're gonna get this handled. Afterwards, they didn't respond to Lewis or any forms of contact him and his mother made. Months later, Lewis and his mother made their own counsel propose new terms for a royalty agreement that would compensate Lewis for his contributions to the derivative song as a joint author. Finally, in March of 2024, now this is 2 years after the song dropped and 2.5 years after the song was made, Lewis became aware that the defendants did not intend to pay him half the amounts earned from and received for the derivative song, which he was owed and deserved, right? In March 2024, Lewis became aware that the defendants did not intend to pay him any royalties for amounts, of the derivative song's release, but only to pay him a percentage of royalties after the date a new contract was signed. At this point, the song is dead, right? It's no longer on TikTok. So they basically were like, what are they gonna pay him? Like, $1,000 and like, In other words, he realized he wasn't getting. Finally, they say, upon information and belief, amounts earned from and received for the derivative song music video are in excess of $200,000. So I believe $200,000 are a very, very, very low estimate. Like, as we already spoke about, the song on Spotify already made $250K. Who knows what it made on Apple Music? Probably made a good amount on YouTube. It probably, there are all these like other smaller platforms like SoundCloud, Audio Mac even, These all actually make money. There's publishing, licensing of that sort, right? Maybe even radio, because this is a big song. Or that's part of publishing, sorry. It could have very well made $500,000, $600,000. If that's the case, he could get 50% plus of those royalties and publishing wherever, right? Then on top of that, which they're going to talk about later, there's something called punitive damages, which are it's just money you're owed for being wronged, all right? So he's going to get that plus that. So he could really get a very big bag, and so far it's looking like it's a slam dunk case, like he was a child, he got screwed, song made a lot of money, right? Okay, so they then give a little more evidence. They basically say that, this is a joint work. They define a joint work as a work prepared by two or more authors with the intention that their contributions be merged into inseparable or independent parts of a unitary whole. They talk about how they both perform vocally, how they both have copyright. They then prove that the derivative song is based upon the original song, and they also define what a derivative work is. I don't want to go over it because I don't want to beat this, it's the same point, right? All they're doing is just proving that this song was the same song. Anyone who has ears can just understand that, right? They then talk about him being a minor, the contract stuff. They also do explain something here that they didn't prior, though. They say Gurlan or Lewis did not know or understand the terms of the feature agreement prior to emailing confirmed exclamation point. I don't think a minor email or responding to an email with a contract saying confirmed exclamation point is going to hold up in court. So I think they're good here. They also say Lewis never executed the feature agreement. Lewis never consented to the terms of the feature agreement. Neither Lewis nor his mother ratified the feature agreement at any point prior to the filing of this complaint. As a result of the foregoing, Lewis is entitled to a declaration that, okay, blah, 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 blah. Cool. The one, it's like The Simpsons being boring. Okay, keep going, see what there is. So here they're basically just asking to obtain knowledge to know the exact amount of money, and they're just asking to be able to perform an audit to find out how much money the song actually grossed and probably netted, which of course will determine how much money Lewis is paid after this lawsuit, right? And they're just talking about his rights to, get that. They then talk about how the song is generated no less than 200,000 and how he's entitled to 50% of the money. He'll get that or more. So he's getting at least 100K plus punitive damages, as we've talked about. They're then saying that it's like a whole page, but all it's saying is that Giuseppe, Tekka's manager, and Galactic Records and Republic Records and UMG are holding his money, have his money. They then talk about how Lewis is deserves damages. And then here's what they say. Lewis respectfully requests that the court enter judgment in his favor and against all defendants, awarding plaintiff damages for unjust enrichment in amounts to be determined at trial, but not less than $75,000, including general, special, consequential, actual, and punitive damages, and awarding such and other further relief as the court deems just and proper. All right, so it's over, and it's been respectfully submitted by Benjamin C.R. Lockyer, some Chicago lawyer, all right? I believe he's like an entertainment lawyer or something, but here's the thing, okay? Let's add it up first. 200K, half of that, 100K, plus 75. That's the very minimum. I doubt he's gonna just get that. I don't know if you guys know this, but you know when 6ix9ine stole Pureborn's beat? Guess how much of those royalties he got? He got 90%, okay? So, and he probably also got some punitive damages as well. Or maybe he didn't and they offset it with the amount he got from the royalties or whatever, I don't know. But Lewis is definitely getting like 200 to 400K. He could even get more. He's getting a big bag in my opinion. The way I see this, I don't know if Tana's involved or it's his manager or it was the label or something or it was a huge misunderstanding. None of Tana and Lewis's songs are no longer up. They no longer follow each other. Something interesting too is a lot of people still mess with Lewis, like Majins, and I guess it's a really bad look for Tana because, you know, think about it, now he's falling out with his former ex-best friend, Some Sixes. He's not cool with anybody, I don't think, out of that entire 2021 era, really. All like Majins and all of them are still cool with each other, just him. And of course, you know, stealing or just like, you know, okay, here's this. Some dude that he used to be like really good friends with because they were like brothers, you know, they have songs and in those brothers they talk about that, in those songs they talk about them being each other's like kneecap and like heart, and those are like, that's like New York slang for brother. And I'm not gonna lie, Lewis's music was never the best, it was never the craziest. His potential was always handicapped by the fact that he didn't actually live a life in the streets. But he was still like a popping underground rapper, a little popping at least, he had a little buzz, you know, he deserves the money that, you know, the song generated, or his portion of it. I will say though, if he was left off of that song, the song would have probably done just as well. Does that mean he legally doesn't deserve the money? No, you know. Seems like he was done pretty dirty. Also very interesting why this took so long. I'm also very curious if they offered him any money. Like, why didn't they just offer him like 150K or like 100K or like 50K, or you know what I mean? Like, so maybe this will also be settled outside of court. Another thing that's very interesting too to me is whose pockets is this money going to come out of? Obviously, the defendants are Tana, his manager Giuseppe, Republic Records, Galactic Records, and I believe Lil Tecca's name is named underneath Galactic as well, or Republic, I'm not sure. And even Young Chris is named. I don't think any money will come out of Young Chris's pockets. I believe though, here's something. Off the Leash was a Icy Twat song at first. So my theory on what happened is they gave whatever Lewis was owed to Icy Twat. Like, I think there were just too many hands in the pie and they didn't want to give any more of the pie up to Lewis as an original author of the song. I'm also very curious to what Young Chris made off the song, because it seems like the song was already popping on TikTok and they chose to put him on to make it even more popping. I don't know why I said popping like that, but and they paid him like an advance. So maybe he wasn't given as big of a royalty split as, you know, maybe he didn't get his splits like, you know, totally even. Who knows? Who cares? Yeah, if it's coming out of Tana's pocket, this is gonna be a fat amount he's gonna have to recoup. Like, there goes his entire income for the year, or even a year and a half. Who knows? It's not gonna look good. If it's coming out of the label, they'll be fine. You know what I mean? It seems like the manager is the culprit here. But it also seems like it's Tana too. At the end of the day, like, he's not that young. Like, you know, if your friend made a song with you and it makes this much amount of money, he deserves at least, you know, he deserves something, right? Like, they didn't even pay him, which is crazy. He was in the music video and everything though, so yeah. But yeah, I guess it's just, you know, bro's fault. There's really nothing much else to say. It's just a very bad look for Lil Tecca and his label to be sued for like taking advantage of like a 15-year-old is, yeah, not a good look at all, or like 16 or however year old he was, and not contacting parents. It's just a very, very, very bad look. Definitely a horrible look for Tana, but yeah, we'll see how it all pans out. Maybe I'll make an update video when the case is settled. You know, normally I would go over like reactions, but I guess I'm like one of the first people reporting on this, so we'll see, you know. Anyways, let me know what you think of this. How bad did he really screw him over? He didn't deserve it, but guys, let me know what you think. All right, take care, have a nice day, and see you tomorrow. Bye.